Picture this. You step outside on a warm summer morning, drink in hand, ready to enjoy your garden, and what do you find? Your tomato plants stripped bare. Aphids swarming your pepper stems. And that squash you nursed from a tiny seed? Destroyed overnight. So you do what most gardeners do. You grab a spray bottle, douse everything, and cross your fingers. It helps for maybe a week. Then the pests come right back. Season after season, same battle, same losses, same frustration. Here is what changed everything for me. I visited Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and spent time watching Amish gardens up close. These communities have grown food for over 300 years, no synthetic pesticides, nothing from a store shelf. And their gardens? Lush, full, barely touched by pests. I stood there looking at rows of perfect tomatoes thinking, what do these people understand that the rest of us have completely missed? That is exactly what this video covers. Stay until the end because I will share one simple Amish transplant technique that most gardening books have never mentioned. When I first studied the Amish approach, I was skeptical. I had gardened for decades, tried every organic method available, and figured if a better way existed I would have found it. But I had been thinking about pest control completely backwards. My entire approach was reactive. Wait for pests to show up, then fight them. The Amish never think that way. They design their gardens so most pest problems never develop at all. That single shift cost me nothing and changed everything. The Amish follow a principle called Gelassenheit, yielding to the natural order and trusting that creation has a built-in balance. Your job as a gardener is to work within that balance, not fight against it. When you spray pesticides, you kill the pests but also wipe out the ladybugs, lacewings, and parasitic wasps already controlling those pests for free. Stop fighting nature and let nature fight for you. Pest control does not begin on the leaves. It begins underground. Healthy soil rich in organic matter produces plants with stronger cell walls and higher natural defense compounds. Research from Penn State and Cornell confirms that plants grown in compost-enriched soil show measurably greater resistance to pest damage. This is not folklore, it is plant biology. Every spring before planting, spread 2 to 3 inches of well-aged compost across your beds and work it into the top 4 to 6 inches. The Amish use horse and cow manure composted through winter, which creates an incredibly rich soil microbiome. Quality bagged compost works fine if that is what you have access to. Do this every single year without skipping. After 2 to 3 seasons, your plants will be visibly stronger, thicker stemmed, and noticeably less attractive to pests. Not zero damage, nature does not work that way, but significantly less. Most American gardens are planted in single crop rows. To a pest, a long row of one crop is an all-you-can-eat buffet. Amish gardeners deliberately mix aromatic herbs and flowers among their vegetables because most pests navigate by scent. Surround host plants with strongly scented companions and you create what entomologists call olfactory confusion. The pest simply cannot locate your tomatoes through the signal of basil and marigolds drowning it out. For every 3 to 4 tomato plants, tuck one basil plant 8 to 10 inches from the base. Basil repels aphids, whiteflies, and hornworms. Between rows of cabbage or broccoli, plant dill every 12 to 14 inches. Dill repels cabbage moths and when it flowers attracts parasitic wasps that destroy caterpillars. Along bed borders, plant French marigolds spaced 10 to 12 inches apart. Their roots release compounds that suppress soil nematodes and their scent deters whiteflies and squash bugs above ground. The rule is simple. Never plant a crop alone. Always give it companions that confuse pests and invite allies. A single ladybug eats up to 50 aphids per day. A lacewing larva consumes 200 aphids in its lifetime. Parasitic wasps kill hornworms from the inside out. Ground beetles patrol the soil at night eating slugs and cutworms. These are your allies and the Amish build their gardens to keep them around. Plant an insectary strip along one border of your garden. Even 2 feet wide is enough. Use sweet alyssum at the front since it stays low and blooms all season. Behind it alternate yarrow and dill spaced 10 to 12 inches apart. This strip will attract hoverflies, parasitic wasps, lacewings, and ladybugs within weeks of first bloom, and those populations will patrol your entire garden. Also leave small areas a little wild on purpose. A clover patch near the garden, an unmowed strip along the fence, a pile of stones where ground beetles can shelter. A perfectly manicured garden with bare soil everywhere is a no-vacancy sign for the creatures you most want to attract. Every Amish gardener I spoke with mentioned the morning walk as naturally as breakfast or morning chores. Each morning before the heat sets in, walk your garden slowly. Turn leaves over. Check undersides of foliage. Run your eyes along every stem. When you find a pest, drop it into a bucket of soapy water. Most serious pest damage does not happen because of one or two insects. It happens because a small population was left unchecked and exploded. A single hornworm strips an entire branch in 48 hours. 2 squash bugs lay hundreds of eggs in a week. The morning walk catches problems while they are still small. Give yourself 15 minutes each morning. For tomatoes, look for hornworms and watch for their dark droppings on leaves below as your first clue. For squash, flip leaves and scrape off bronze-colored egg clusters before they hatch. For brassicas, watch for small green caterpillars and hovering white moths laying eggs. The Amish prevent damage daily with quiet attention. You develop an instinct for your garden that no amount of spraying will ever teach you. Rather than eliminating every pest entirely, the Amish sometimes invite them in deliberately but direct them to the wrong address. You plant something pests prefer even more than your main crop at the garden edges and let it draw them away from what you actually care about. Nasturtiums are the classic choice. Aphids are powerfully attracted to them. Plant nasturtiums in a ring around the outside of your garden and aphids will cluster there instead of on your beans and peppers. Once loaded with aphids, leave them for your ladybugs and lacewings to feast on. That is the whole system working together. For flea beetles, plant radishes 2 feet in front of your eggplant. They will gather on the radish leaves instead. For squash vine borers, plant blue Hubbard squash at the far corners of your garden as a decoy. No sprays, no products, no daily labor, just clever planting that lets pests do exactly what nature built them to do, somewhere you do not mind. For moments when pest pressure runs higher than usual, mix this simple recipe. Chop 4 to 5 garlic cloves and 2 hot peppers and steep them in 1 quart of warm water overnight. Strain through cheesecloth into a spray bottle and add 1 teaspoon of plain dish soap. Spray directly onto affected plants, focusing on leaf undersides. Apply in early morning or late evening, never midday, as the soap can scorch leaves in direct heat. Reapply every 5 to 7 days or after heavy rain. This spray deters pests rather than killing them on contact. It makes your plants smell and taste unpleasant so insects move elsewhere. Combined with everything else covered in this video, it is usually more than enough. When transplanting seedlings, the Amish place a collar made from a toilet paper roll around the base of each plant, pushed 1 inch into the soil and rising 2 inches above the surface. This stops cutworms cold. These soil-crawling larvae sever young stems at ground level overnight, and once that happens, the plant is gone. The cardboard collar blocks them completely and breaks down naturally in 4 to 6 weeks, right when the stem has toughened enough to no longer be vulnerable. No plastic, no chemicals, just a scrap of cardboard. I went from losing 8 transplants every spring to losing almost none. Build your soil every year. Mix your plantings. Create habitat for beneficial insects. Walk your garden every morning. Use trap crops to redirect pests. Mix a simple kitchen spray when needed. And protect every young transplant with a cardboard collar. This is how the Amish have grown clean, abundant gardens for over 300 years without a single bottle of pesticide. Drop a comment telling me what you plan to try first. And if you want more deep dives into traditional gardening wisdom, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.